Stop pretending you're already a man. Start becoming one. If you ignore this, the world will shape you into something weak, compliant, and forgettable, and you will spend your life obeying people stronger than you. You've carried a boy inside you far longer than you admit, the one who apologizes for existing, the one who chases approval, the one who thinks that being kind is enough to earn respect. That version of you has cost you years of your life. Years wasted on emotional impulses, pointless arguments, distractions, and desires you never controlled. Before you rise, that boy must fall. You've been conditioned to believe masculinity is danger, to soften your voice, to lower your presence, to replace strength with guilt. The modern world teaches you to bend so others feel taller. It punishes your assertiveness and rewards your timidity. And because of that, you've become a diluted version of yourself, cut into a shape that offends no one, yet impresses no one either. Stop hiding your potential under layers of hesitation. Start confronting the dead weight inside you. The boy inside you talks too much. He reacts emotionally. He craves validation. He confuses niceness for virtue and silence for weakness. He doesn't understand that real masculinity is not performance, it's structure. A disciplined, contained, strategic force capable of imposing order on chaos. Your first task is brutal. Recognize the behaviors that expose your softness. You reveal insecurity every time you over-explain. You reveal fear every time you rush your words. You reveal weakness every time you seek reassurance. You think people don't notice, but they do. They see it in your tone, your posture, your inconsistency. And powerful individuals discard you silently. No one follows a man who cannot command himself. You rise the moment you adopt a Machiavellian principle. Power belongs to the one who regulates his impulses, not the one controlled by them. Masculinity is not loud. It's not aggressive. It's not theatrical. It is composed. It is silent. It is measured. It is the still water that hides depth and danger beneath the surface. Your presence must communicate that depth, without ever announcing it. If you want transformation, you must understand the mechanism. People follow gravity, not noise. Gravity is the psychological weight of someone who moves slowly, speaks deliberately, and never reacts emotionally. When you behave like this, others orbit around you. When you lose control, you orbit around them, and every orbit is a surrender. Hold your frame, hold your silence, hold your boundaries. This is how the man emerges. Your protocol begins now. 1. Stop talking impulsively. Speech dilutes power when unregulated. Let silence become your default. Speak only after your thoughts settle. 2. Control your reactions. The boy responds instantly. The man responds selectively. A delayed reaction shows internal authority. 3. Discipline your environment. A chaotic room reflects a chaotic mind. Order everything, from your schedule to your desk to your posture. 4. Withdraw your neediness. Approval seeking is cancer to masculinity. Remove it ruthlessly. Replace it with self-containment. 5. Practice emotional coldness, not cruelty, clarity. Let emotions pass through you without dictating your behavior. Your mistakes have always been the same. You try too hard to be liked. You apologize for asserting yourself. You avoid confrontation because you fear disapproval. You attach your identity to external reactions. These are the cracks where weakness enters. Seal them. Replace softness with steel. Now see the first scene. You walk into a room filled with noise. People overtalk, over-explain, over-perform. Their voices rise to claim validation, but you remain still. Your posture is straight, shoulders grounded, eyes calm. You don't rush to speak. You let the room reveal itself. Someone tests you with subtle disrespect. You don't flinch. You don't smile nervously. You don't react. Your silence becomes a mirror, and they see themselves reflected in it. They pause. They adjust. The power dynamic shifts toward you. Second scenario. Someone close to you tries to manipulate your emotions. They provoke. They guilt trip. They demand reaction. The old you would argue, explain, defend, justify. But the man you are becoming does none of that. You listen, you breathe. You answer with 5 clean words. I don't operate like that. No anger, no justification, just the boundary. They feel the cold clarity of someone who has stopped negotiating with weakness, both in others and in himself. This is the turning point. The boy dissolves, the man emerges, and with him comes something the modern world cannot control: internal sovereignty, independence from approval, immunity to emotional manipulation, the ability to think under pressure, the willingness to confront what others avoid. Hold the final image. You, no longer pulled by impulses or insecurities, but guided by discipline and strategic silence. You become the man who acts with intention, who speaks with weight, who carries himself with controlled force. Boys chase validation. Men create gravity. If this awakened something in you, keep moving. Only those willing to kill their weaknesses rise into the circle of the self-governed. Subscribe and stay with those who sharpen themselves. You don't become a man through age. You become one through elimination, the slow, deliberate removal of every weakness that once dictated your decisions. The boy inside you was shaped by impulse, fear, and emotional noise. The man inside you is shaped by structure. Structure is the spine of masculinity. Without it, you collapse under pressure. With it, you become immovable. You must understand the truth you were never told. People judge your masculinity not by your words, but by the consistency of your restraint, your ability to maintain direction when others seek distraction, your ability to hold your boundaries when others try to test them, your ability to remain silent when the whole room rushes to speak. This stillness is not passivity. It is unspoken dominance. Stop treating your emotions like commands. Start treating them like weather. They pass. You remain. That is what separates you from the boy. The boy feels everything as if it is final. The man feels everything as if it is information. You must become the observer of your impulses, not the servant of them. Every time you delay a reaction, you sharpen your mind. Every time you refuse to take the bait, you fortify your identity. Most of your suffering came from your inability to regulate your emotional energy. You gave it freely. You let others drain it. You let chaos enter through every open door in your psyche. No more. From now on, your attention becomes selective. Your emotions become disciplined. Your presence becomes protected. Masculinity is preservation of energy, of intention, of identity. You rise when you learn the next law. Control your solitude. Boys run from isolation because it forces them to see themselves without distraction. Men seek solitude because it builds their mind into something sharper than noise. In solitude, your discipline becomes visible, your thoughts align, your weaknesses lose their camouflage. When you sit alone in silence, you witness your unfiltered truth, and truth is the foundation of transformation. Stop escaping into entertainment. Start sitting with your discomfort. A man grows when he confronts the thoughts that the boy kept avoiding. Now you understand why you've been stagnant. Your identity was built on reaction, not intention. To become a man, you must reverse the direction of your energy. The world no longer dictates you. You dictate the world. Every action must be chosen, not inherited. Every word must be measured, not spilled. Every decision must be intentional, not impulsive. Your presence must tighten. No more fidgeting, no more explaining, no more leaking emotions through nervous speech. The man stands still. The man speaks slowly. The man moves with calm purpose. When you walk into a room like that, even people stronger than you feel your gravity. They don't know why. They don't need to know. They feel it. Human beings are wired to detect hierarchy, and stillness is a signal of hierarchy. You rise further when you master confrontation. Confrontation isn't about aggression, it's about clarity. When someone crosses your boundary, you state your line once. Clearly, calmly, without apology. You don't justify. You don't argue. You don't perform dominance. You simply assert it. The boy shouts to prove strength. The man whispers and is obeyed. Most people collapse during conflict because they lack internal discipline. They let fear twist their words. They let anxiety speed their breathing. They let insecurity shape their decisions. You will not. You will train your nervous system to remain cold during pressure. Pressure is the arena where masculinity is forged. Meet it with stillness, and you become unshakable. Meet it with emotion, and you remain fragile. Now envision another scenario. You stand in front of someone who tries to provoke you. A colleague, a partner, a rival, a superior. They raise their voice, distort your intentions, try to corner you with accusations. The boy inside you once panicked. He would rush to defend himself. He would stumble over excuses. He would try to be understood. But the man you are building doesn't move like that. You listen. You absorb. You respond in slow, precise sentences that reveal nothing except your control. Their anger loses its power. Their manipulation collapses. They realize they can no longer bend you, and the dynamic shifts forever. Second scenario. You are alone at night, surrounded by silence. The boy inside you craves distraction, scrolling, noise, entertainment, anything to avoid introspection. But you deny him. You sit with the silence until it becomes your territory. You breathe deeply. You notice how your mind pulls you toward weakness, and you pull it back. That moment, when you choose discipline over comfort, is the exact place where masculinity is born. Understand this final truth. Strength is not loud. Strength is not violent. Strength is not theatrical. Strength is the ability to choose your response when everything inside you wants to react. Strength is the ability to delay gratification when everything inside you wants relief. Strength is the ability to maintain identity when everyone around you tries to shape you into something smaller. Masculinity is self-rule. Others can influence you, but they cannot govern you. Others can speak to you, but they cannot penetrate you. Others can test you, but they cannot move you. You become a man the moment you stop negotiating with your weaknesses and start governing them. Every act of self-control becomes a weapon. Every moment of silence becomes armor. Every disciplined choice becomes a brick in the identity you are building. Hold the final image of this block. You, no longer reactive, no longer seeking approval, no longer shaped by the emotional storms inside you. You stand still. You breathe deeply. You act deliberately. And the boy, the one who has led you into weakness, regret, and confusion, falls behind you as you walk forward. Only the men who govern themselves rise. Only the disciplined ascend. Only the self-controlled enter the circle of those who shape reality instead of being shaped by it. If this hit you with force, stay here. This path is for those who refuse to remain ordinary. Subscribe and continue the rise. You think power comes from talking. It doesn't. It comes from deciding what version of you survives, and the boy who hesitates, apologizes, and looks for permission never survives. As Machiavelli would frame it, a man who cannot command himself will never command anything external. That's the fracture you're fixing here. The gap between who you pretend to be and who you must become if you expect the world to bend. You underestimate how much people study you. They track your habits. They notice your inconsistencies. They memorize your softness. And every time you say yes when you should say no, you feed their expectation that you remain predictable. Predictability kills respect. Predictability kills fear. Predictability kills the man you are trying to forge. Stop assuming they want your kindness. They want your usefulness. That is the real marketplace. And if you don't understand that, you become currency with no value. Every interaction reveals where you sit on the hierarchy. Your posture, your discipline, your schedule, your focus. They broadcast your rank long before your words do. That's why your transformation starts with structure, not speeches. Order is the first sign of a dangerous man. Chaos is the scent of prey. Ask yourself this: who can you threaten merely by existing? If the answer is no one, you haven't built anything yet. You don't fix this by motivating yourself. You fix it by eliminating the version of you that tolerates disorder. The boy who oversleeps, the boy who scrolls, the boy who says tomorrow like he owns time. That boy is your enemy, and every day he wins, you remain irrelevant. Stop feeding him. Starve him with routine. Nothing reveals a man's power faster than what he does when no one is watching. A weak man needs pressure to act. A strong man moves without witness. That's why discipline is a private war. You win it in silence, and the world sees the outcome only when it's too late for them to stop you. Remember this micro hook. A man who cannot govern his minutes cannot govern his destiny. You have let your life run on autopilot. You wake up reacting instead of commanding. You let other people's urgency overwrite your strategy. And you call that being responsible, when in reality, it's just being controlled. No powerful man lets anyone script his day. Control begins with boundaries, not emotional boundaries, operational boundaries. You decide when you wake. You decide what you attack first. You decide who gets access, and on what terms. A boy begs for attention. A man allocates access like a resource. Your schedule is a weapon. Right now, you treat it like decoration. Build it like fortification. Guard it like territory. Look at the powerful. They don't rush. They don't chase. They don't scatter. Their pace is slow, intentional, intimidating. Slowness is a strategy. Slowness forces others to reveal urgency, and urgency is vulnerability. When you move with deliberation, you make everyone else show their cards first. Stop moving like prey. Move like someone with time, options, and silence inside his spine. Silence, by the way, is masculine steel. Men who talk too much never intimidate. They leak information. They leak insecurity. They leak validation-seeking impulses. You become heavier the moment you speak less. Every word you remove adds weight to the ones you keep. Here is your next micro hook. Your silence should be a boundary they feel, not a mood you explain. When you speak less, people lean in. When you slow down, people adjust. When you make them wait, they begin to measure themselves against your pace. That's how you control a room without raising your voice. You've been trying to earn respect through effort. Respect is earned through posture, not performance. People don't follow the most competent man. They follow the man with the highest perceived status. And status is a psychological environment you create by managing the three currencies of power: what you tolerate, what you prioritize, what you ignore. Whatever you tolerate defines you. Whatever you prioritize organizes you. Whatever you ignore frees you. Stop tolerating disrespect. Stop prioritizing distractions. Stop ignoring your potential. You want to become a man? Then understand this. Masculinity is not aggression. Masculinity is governance. Over your impulses, over your schedule, over your emotions. The man who cannot contain himself is not powerful. He is chaotic. And chaos is a boy's signature. Control is a man's signature. Your emotions try to negotiate with you. Don't negotiate. Feelings don't build empires. Decisions do. This is why discipline feels unnatural at first, because you're killing the part of you that demands comfort. Comfort is the coffin of becoming. Look around you. Every man trapped in mediocrity has the same disease. He wants results without ritual. He wants progress without pruning. He wants strength without sacrifice. Weakness isn't a personality trait. It's an accumulated pattern of self-betrayal. And you break that pattern by making one ruthless decision. Your comfort no longer matters. Your mission matters. Your identity matters. Your evolution matters. A man becomes dangerous when he becomes indifferent to excuses. Not resistant. Indifferent. When excuses no longer register as viable thoughts, your path becomes straight, sharp, inevitable. Another micro hook. Men don't rise because they want more. They rise because they tolerate less. Now understand the psychology. People will resist your transformation. They will call it coldness. They will call it arrogance. They will call it overkill. But what they really mean is this. Your discipline exposes their lack of it. Your boundaries offend their dependence on you. Your silence confronts their noise. Your detachment threatens their control. They knew how to handle the boy version of you. The new man forces them to reevaluate their own structure. And people hate mirrors. But that is why you keep going. You're not becoming this man for them. You're becoming him because your future requires him. No one respects an undisciplined man. They may love him. They may enjoy him. They may use him. But they will never respect him. Respect is earned through demonstration, not demand. This transformation is not about being alpha or dominant. Those are labels for men who want aesthetic strength. You're building operational strength, the kind that rewrites outcomes. Operational strength shows in your habits, your consistency, your priorities, your boundaries, your silence, your energy, your time management. A boy reacts. A man structures. You want to know the real sign of maturity? It's not age. It's not confidence. It's not experience. It's the ability to delay gratification without emotional friction. When you can say no to impulses without negotiation, you've crossed the threshold. And now we enter the first scene anchor. At the office, you walk past a group of co-workers debating something meaningless. You don't stop. You don't explain. You don't smile. You go straight to your desk and begin your plan for the day. Within minutes, two of them quiet down. One lowers his voice, another straightens his posture. They're not intimidated by aggression. They're intimidated by your silence, by your pace, by the fact that you're no longer available for nonsense. Respect shifts without a word spoken. Here comes the second scene anchor. A friend calls you, wanting to vent about his latest disaster. He expects the old you, the boy who listens, absorbs, and solves problems for everyone else. But you answer with controlled brevity. You listen for a moment. Then you say, "I handle it." Calm, firm, final, no apologies. You end the call. Minutes later, he messages you saying he resolved it. Your detachment forced him to grow. Your boundary created pressure. Pressure creates competence. Now we tighten the blade. You cannot become a man until you are willing to disappoint people. Boys fear disappointing others. Men fear disappointing themselves. That is the threshold. When your standards matter more than their comfort, you stop living horizontally. You rise vertically, and every vertical movement isolates you. That isolation is not punishment, it's evolution. Another micro hook. The moment you stop seeking approval, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is power. Your unpredictability breaks patterns. Patterns others rely on. Patterns your enemies study. Patterns your environment expects. And when those patterns collapse, people must reposition themselves around your new center of gravity. That is masculinity, becoming the gravitational force in your life. You don't orbit around others anymore. They orbit around you. You've wasted years trying to be liked. Now you invest minutes becoming formidable. That trade changes everything. You want to know why your life feels heavy? Because you carry expectations that aren't yours. You worry about opinions that don't matter. You let people drain you because you haven't yet accepted the most Machiavellian truth of manhood. You cannot protect your future while babysitting the past. Release the old version of yourself. Not with emotion, with indifference. You don't need closure. You don't need validation. You don't need permission. A man becomes who he is the moment he stops explaining himself. And here's the micro hook. Stop narrating your transformation. Let them witness it. Every announcement of improvement is a leak. Every explanation is a crack. Every attempt to justify your new discipline is a sign you don't fully own it yet. Silence removes negotiation. Silence removes debate. Silence removes the illusion that anyone else has a vote. You don't need a committee to approve your evolution. There is a law of psychological dominance most men overlook. Whoever frames the interaction leads it. And the strongest frame a man can use is internal. When your inner world is structured, your outer world bends. What destroys you is not difficulty. It's fragmentation. Too many open loops. Too many unfinished tasks. Too many commitments you said yes to because you feared confrontation. Confrontation is not conflict. Confrontation is self-respect. A man who avoids confrontation avoids clarity. and a man without clarity becomes prey. You can't lead a life that intimidates others while being terrified of small tensions. Detach from the need to be agreeable. Agreement is cheap. Alignment is expensive. What you want is alignment. But alignment demands separation. From laziness, from chaos, from distraction, from people addicted to mediocrity. You think you can evolve while keeping the same environment. You think you can rise while surrounded by those who sink. You think you can sharpen steel by rubbing it against mud. You can't. And deep down you know that. Another micro hook. Your future demands a cost. Pay it or stay small. You've spent years avoiding the real work, restructuring your identity, planning your day with surgical precision, cutting off behaviors that drain your testosterone, your focus, your edge. You cannot build a masculine foundation on habits designed to numb your instincts. Every time you scroll, you tell your brain the world controls you. Every time you procrastinate, you tell your instincts you fear effort. Every time you complain, you tell your subconscious you have no power. Stop sending weak signals. Your brain listens. We move now into the internal mechanism, the psychology beneath this transformation. There are three forces that shape a man: pain, pressure, purpose. Pain reveals what you must stop. Pressure reveals what you must become. Purpose reveals where you must go. Boys escape pain. Boys collapse under pressure. Boys drift without purpose. Men use all three as fuel. You want to become a man in 15 minutes. Then understand this. Masculinity is not a feeling. It's a position, a stance, a psychological posture that says, I govern myself. Men who govern themselves don't fear the world. The world fears them. But you cannot govern yourself without structure. Structure becomes your shield. Your rituals become your armor. Your order becomes your silent declaration that you refuse to live like the average. Do you know why people drift? Because they lack constraints. The absence of structure is not freedom. It's decay. Chaos melts your strength. Structure sharpens it. Your mind needs constraints the way a blade needs a whetstone. Tie your life down to a schedule. Cut out every weak distraction. Move like a man with a mission. Not because someone told you to, but because you refuse to be disposable. Weak men are replaceable. Strong men are irreplaceable. Weak men are forgotten. Strong men are feared. Weak men hope. Strong men plan. Another microhook. Stop hoping. Start engineering. Your life becomes masculine the moment you design it. A plan destroys chaos. A ritual destroys weakness. A boundary destroys exploitation. And boundaries are the new language you must master. When you say, I'm busy, speak it without apology. When you say, no, speak it without explanation. When you say, I'm unavailable, speak it without softness. Men leak power through apologies. Men leak power through tone. Men leak power through nervous explanations that serve no purpose. Cut the softness. Keep the clarity. You're not trying to be mean. You're trying to be effective. Effectiveness is masculine. Hesitation is not. Look at your life. Everything collapsing traces back to one thing: your inability to prioritize yourself. Men who don't prioritize themselves become tools for others, not allies. Tools. And tools are thrown away once used. Do not be a tool in someone else's plan. Become the architect of your own. Now we enter the deeper principle of self-forging. Identity is not found. Identity is built. Boys search for themselves. Men build themselves. Searching creates confusion. Building creates direction. Direction creates momentum. Momentum creates identity. Identity creates power. Power creates silence, because once you become the man others study, you no longer need to explain anything. Understand this foundational truth. Masculinity is the art of subtraction. You become more by removing what weakens you, remove distractions, remove emotional dependence, remove approval seeking, remove chaos, remove softness in your tone, remove excuses from your vocabulary. The boy inside you tries to negotiate every removal. The boy panics when you impose restrictions. The boy wants comfort, validation, and predictability. That boy is the anchor holding you underwater. Cut the anchor. Let him drown. Do not rescue him. Do not pity him. His death is your birth. People will feel the shift quickly. They won't know how to label it. They will say you've changed. They will say you're distant. They will say you're acting cold. Accept all of it. Their discomfort is proof that you're rising. A man who grows becomes unsettling to those who refuse to. This is the beginning of your detachment, the most masculine skill of all. Detachment is not indifference. Detachment is selective investment. You choose what matters. You choose who deserves access. You choose where your energy goes. Boys invest everywhere. Men invest strategically. Another micro hook. Not everyone qualifies for the new version of you. Your standards must rise faster than your emotions. Your purpose must speak louder than your insecurities. Your willpower must override your moods. Mood-based men remain boys forever. You rise when your discipline replaces your feelings. You rise when your mission replaces your comfort. You rise when your silence replaces your explanations. Now we push deeper into the transformation, into the steel framework of who you must become if you expect the world to recognize you as a man. Your habits shape your masculinity. Your masculinity shapes your reality. Reality bends to the man who bends himself first. Everything begins in the morning. If you control your morning, you control your day. If you control your day, you control your life. If you control your life, you control your destiny. This is not philosophy. This is architecture. Look at the powerful. Their mornings are fortresses. No distractions, no chaos, no scrolling, no softness. They wake with purpose because they sleep with purpose. Your mornings look like accidents. Fix that. You start by eliminating noise. Noise steals masculine focus. Noise steals masculine clarity. Noise steals masculine aggression. The productive kind, not the childish kind. A man without focus becomes a slave to novelty. Novelty is poison. Novelty destroys discipline. Novelty weakens the masculine nervous system. If you want respect, you must become predictable to yourself and unpredictable to others. Predictable in your rituals, unpredictable in your reactions. That combination creates power. Your next evolution begins when you stop announcing emotional storms. A man who reveals every fluctuation of his inner world becomes predictable. Predictability is vulnerability. Vulnerability invites control. Control is always taken by those who understand timing better than you do. Stop narrating your instability. Stabilize yourself instead. Your silence becomes a fortress. Your presence becomes a message. Your consistency becomes a weapon. Men who master these three create an atmosphere. And atmosphere is influence without motion. Influence without motion is the highest form of authority. Every time you react impulsively, you break that atmosphere. You turn from steel into smoke. And smoke has no structure. Smoke cannot lead. Smoke cannot command respect. Smoke disappears when wind arrives. Do not be smoke. Become steel. Here's your next micro hook. Stop reacting fast. Slow reactions dominate fast tempers. Boys rush. Men analyze. Boys explode. Men direct. Boys prove themselves. Men position themselves. The world respects positioning more than passion. You think your intensity makes you intimidating. It doesn't. It makes you readable. And readability kills power. Study the powerful. They rarely show intensity first. Their first language is stillness. Their second is timing. Their third is consequence. Learn those three and the room bends around you. Now, we enter the most uncomfortable section, the one that removes every illusion you've held about what makes a man respected. People don't respect kindness. People don't respect honesty. People don't respect consistency. They respect selective kindness. They respect strategic honesty. They respect disciplined consistency. Because selective behavior signals control, control signals power. Power signals masculinity. You rise not by being good, but by being controlled. And control begins internally. When you wake up with discipline, you send a message. When you deny weakness, you send a message. When you keep promises to yourself, you send a message. Not to others, to your subconscious. Your subconscious builds your identity from what you repeatedly do, not from what you repeatedly think. If your actions contradict your thoughts, your subconscious believes your actions. Boys love self-help. Men love self-command. It's time to establish what I call the masculine triad: order, strategy, endurance. Order stabilizes your world. Strategy directs your world. Endurance protects your world. Without order, you drift. Without strategy, you stagnate. Without endurance, you collapse. Your transformation depends on mastering all three. Let's break them down with the precision of a blade. Order begins with your physical environment. Yes, your room matters. Yes, your desk matters. Yes, your habits matter. Your environment is not decoration, it is reinforcement. Every object, every space, every routine either strengthens or weakens your masculine posture. Chaos signals immaturity. Order signals readiness. If you want to command respect, start by commanding your space. Now we move to strategy, the most Machiavellian skill of all. Strategy is not manipulation. Strategy is the architecture of outcomes. The powerful don't wait for results. They create conditions that guarantee them. They do not hope for improvement. They embed improvement into their schedule. Planning is not boring. Planning is masculine. Planning is how you impose your will on the future. And here is your next microhook. Stop improvising your life. Build it with intention. Improvisation is for the unprepared. Men who improvise collapse under pressure. When you have a plan, you don't fear reality. You shape it. Your strategy must be handwritten, not imagined. Write your targets. Write your priorities. Write your deadlines. What is written gains gravity. What isn't written dissolves. That brings us to endurance and the final piece. Endurance is not suffering. Endurance is persistence without noise. Boys complain when things get difficult. Men remain silent. Their silence is not weakness. It's concentration. Endurance is the ability to do the right thing longer than anyone else is willing to. You want to become unstoppable? Then outlast the disorder inside you. Endurance is the masculine equivalent of emotional armor. With it, you walk through storms without collapsing. Without it, even sunshine blinds you. Now we transition into scene anchor number 1, the workplace. Picture this. You enter a meeting. The room is loud, unfocused, filled with passive-aggressive comments and hidden power plays. The old you would try to prove yourself, try to justify your ideas, try to win approval. But the man you're becoming does the opposite. You sit, you observe, you wait. Your posture is steady. Your eyes are controlled. Your breathing is calm. And within minutes, people feel something shift. They don't know why, but they feel pressure. They feel presence. You didn't speak, but you dominated. When you finally speak, you speak once, clearly, slowly, with certainty. The room aligns. Not because you demanded it, because you earned it. This is masculine social authority. Now we move to scene anchor number 2, family dynamics. It's a gathering. Everyone is talking over each other, chaos, emotion, gossip, people projecting insecurities. A perfect battleground for psychological weakness. The boy inside you would try to mediate, try to calm everyone, try to be liked. But the man you're becoming does none of that. You withdraw slightly, not in discomfort, in control. You stand with a still face. You answer questions concisely. You don't defend yourself. You don't explain your choices. You don't participate in emotional chaos. The result? People talk less around you. People gossip less around you. People suddenly treat you as an equal or above, not because you demanded respect, because your behavior radiated it. And here's yet another microhook. Masculinity is not performed. It is perceived. You don't act like a man. You become a man. The perception follows the essence. Now let's cut deeper into the psychology of your transformation. To become a man, you must sever your dependency on external approval. Approval seeking is the death of masculinity. The more you need their validation, the more they own your identity. The more you chase acceptance, the more you betray yourself. You don't need them to like you. You don't need them to understand you. You don't need them to approve of you. Your decisions must be based on your mission, not their mood. Your priorities must be based on your vision, not their opinions. Your standards must be based on your future, not your past. Cut the boy. Build the man. We now reach the section where your new identity must be forged through behavior. Masculinity lives in repetition, in the rituals that create strength. Wake up early, even when you feel tired. Train your body, even when you lack motivation. Work on your goals, even when inspiration is gone. You rise by doing what your weaker self avoids. This is how discipline becomes instinct. This is how confidence becomes natural. This is how masculinity becomes your default. Your emotions will cry. Your mind will resist. Your body will complain. Ignore all of them. Obedience to your mission replaces obedience to your feelings. Another micro hook. You don't need to feel ready. You need to act ready. We approach now the final psychological principle, your masculine edge. Your edge is the combination of your silence, your focus, your resilience, and your clarity. It is what makes other men respect you and women admire you. It is what separates leaders from followers, predators from prey, builders from drifters. You sharpen your edge each time you say no, walk away, finish what you start, prioritize solitude, control your tone, move with intention, keep your word. Masculinity is not loud. Masculinity is controlled. Masculinity is not emotional theater. It is emotional precision. You don't explode. You don't panic. You don't beg. You don't chase. You don't justify. You remain composed, even under pressure. You remain focused, even under chaos. You remain purposeful, even under uncertainty. This is how you become unshakable. And now we arrive at the closing image. Imagine yourself standing in front of the mirror, not as the boy who doubted himself, not as the boy who broke under emotion, but as the man who rebuilt himself through structure, discipline, silence, and will. You stare back into your own eyes with the calm of someone who has finally taken command of his destiny. You don't need anyone to confirm it. You don't need applause. You don't need permission. You know who you've become. And so does the world. If this reset your standard, remember it the next time they test your resolve. Stay in this circle. Only the sharpened, the disciplined, and the self-forged belong here. Subscribe and continue the ascent. Subscribe and continue the ascent.